friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead. And no, I'm not going to give you a sweep of the kitchen because it's not finished yet. Okay, maybe a little sweep. Wolfie has been really tolerant with the slapdash meals I've been making while the kitchen's been torn apart. And since it's somewhat back together, I thought I'd do kind of a celebratory meal. I'm going to make something similar to a muffaletta. But if I call it a muffaletta, I'm going to get a whole bunch of emails saying, that's not a muffaletta. So I'm going to make a Volfiletta, okay, for Wolfie. We're going to start out with a loaf of sourdough bread. Now this is about to go in the oven. And when it's in the oven, I'll meet you guys at the table for the rest of the ingredients. Okay, first things first, we're going to make the salad portion of our Volfiletta. Now, I recommend if you want to make a muffaletta, look it up online. Now, the only thing similar between the muffaletta and the Volfiletta is the olives and the style of the sandwich. Everything else pretty much is completely different. So first, I'm going to take some mushrooms, and yes, your eyes do not deceive you, I have another chop wizard. So first off, we've got some tin mushrooms. I need a cloth. We're going to put in some, geez, you know, everything's got liquid in it. I've never had a caper before. But we're going to add just a few little capers here. I have no idea what these are. They almost look like green snails. Alright, that's them. We're going to take some, whoops, more liquid, some olives with the pimento. Just your regular everyday cocktail olives. Oh, these don't have. Oh, and they have pits too. All right, I'll be back. I'm going to drain some of these and some of these and pit them. I'll be right back. Now, the black olives are already pitted. The green ones aren't, so I'm probably going to dice those by hand. But this is the one true thing that I love the chop wizard for, and that is onions. Now we're just going to put a half or so medium onion. Oh, let's get the rest of that off of there. We're going to put a half a medium onion, minced fine. Just get rid of that. In with our mushrooms and our capers. And essentially, basically, what we're supposed to be making, is an olive salad. But guess what, folks? I don't have the red wine vinegar. I don't have the herbs. So, like I said, this is going to be, and I'm not using ham, and I'm not using provolone. I'm going to be using pastrami and Swiss. So I'm making the olive salad, and I'm going to, wow, I hate these. I hate the fact that these aren't pitted. I'm making the olive salad, but with a twist, of course. So far in our olive salad, we have mushrooms, capers, onion, black olives, and green olives. And we're going to be adding garlic to that. I'll be back when I have pitted all of these. Okay. I've changed my mind, and I am going to use some dehydrated mushrooms, only because I think there's going to be a lot of moisture in this mix. And I want something to, I want it to be nice and moist, but I don't want it to be dripping. So in here now, we have Plus also the canned mushrooms. The canned mushrooms and the olives are all very salty, and I don't want to over salt this mix. Okay, so we've got the plain dried mushrooms in there. Now we're going to make our salad dressing. Now remember, folks, remember, this is not a muffaletta. So don't email me and say that's not how a muffaletta is made. We're going to put in about a tablespoon to 3/4 to a tablespoon of minced garlic. And you're seeing me use up this jar because I just bought like 6 pounds of garlic that I have to dehydrate. We are going to give it a splash of mustard. That's about a tablespoon. About a tablespoon of Hellmann's mayonnaise. Do not use Miracle Whip. Do not use salad dressing. Use real mayonnaise, okay, folks? Real mayonnaise. Okay. Now, we're going to just add, and yes, I'm out of fresh ground pepper. So we're going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper and about a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, if I had some, sweet red peppers or sweet green peppers, I would have probably minced some up in here as well. But essentially, we're making roughly kind of an olive salad. Now, the reason I'm adding the mustard and mayo and the onion when it didn't really call for it is because I'm using pastrami, folks. I am not using ham or salami. I'm using pastrami. So this is kind of a Canadian Quebec version, I guess, of a Volfiletta, but it's a Volfiletta. A Volfiletta. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put this in the fridge and let this let all the flavors permeate together until our bread is done. And when our bread comes out of the oven, we'll be back. You're going to need, for this recipe, you're going to need some Montreal smoked meat or pastrami and some Swiss cheese. Oh, almost forgot. Some Parmigiano. There we go. You can never have too much cheese. I'm telling you. Well, I'm sure you can, but we wanted some Parmigiana in there as well. Lovely. Wouldn't it be lovely? All right, we'll be back when the bread comes out of the oven. We're going to put this in the fridge to permeate. All right. Here's our loaf of sourdough bread. And we're just going to let this cool on the rack. Normally I would cover it, but we're going to let this cool because we want it to be crusty. Alrighty, folks. Here we have our whole wheat sourdough bread. Now, it is whole wheat, so it's really heavy. But I don't mind because I'm going to be hollowing out most of this bread anyway. Oh, I got that stuck to my hand. Now what I have is a huge amount of pastrami and some sliced Swiss cheese. This is not processed cheese. Yes, occasionally I will buy a lunch meat that for a special occasion. We don't eat lunch meat every day, but when I do buy it, I usually buy a big package so that we can, make it last. I'll use it for Wolfie's lunches or other kinds of sandwiches. Now we're just going to cut our bread in half here. And we're going to, ow, it's still hot. We're going to take, it's very heavy. This is very heavy bread because it is A, sourdough, and B, it's whole wheat. This is completely whole wheat, this bread. We're going to build our sandwich and then we're going to put it in the fridge and let all these juices kind of percolate and do all these wonderful things, and then we're going to bake it. Okay, there's our bread hollowed out. All right, now we have 2 pieces of tin foil, and hopefully they're going to fit around the bread. Now the reason I'm putting the tin foil on first, or the bread, whoops, my bread's falling apart, is so that you don't have to move this sandwich once it is built. And when I say built, I mean built. Oh darn. What can I do to save this here? Well, we'll just set it right there. Again, my bread's falling apart because I didn't have time to let it cool. Okay, first off, we're going to put my bottom layer and my top layer. I'm going to make meat for one simple reason. It's going to help hold the bread together. So we're going to put a layer of pastrami. And let's give that an extra piece because we want nice thick layers. Let's put an extra piece right there in the center. Then we're going to put a layer of Swiss cheese. Just like that. Okay, yeah, we'll do one more. Because guess what, folks? This is supper, and Wolfie deserves it. Now we're going to take our olive salad that has been percolating in the fridge. No, Angus, you're not getting any. And we're going to just spread. You got to be gentle because my bread's falling apart. Get down, please. We're going to spread this right to the edges of our meat and cheese. And then we're going to do this again. And we're just going to repeat this process. Let's do it this way this time. We're just going to repeat this process. I'm not even going to bother tucking the meat in. Look at that. Now, we're going to take our broken top and just set it on there. Now, I'm going to get a pastry brush. And I think I'm going to need more tin foil too. And we're just going to take a little bit of olive oil. And we're going to brush the surface of this so that it kind of gets nice and crusty as it roasts in the oven. Because yes! This is a roasted sandwich, folks. My goodness. Can you see this? This is probably, I'm going to say 4 inches high. No, you're not getting any. Oh, you're so patient. You're just going to have to wait till dinner. So I'm brushing olive oil on here. And then we're just going to start to wrap. Yeah, I'm going to need more tin foil, but that's okay. We're going to put this in the fridge because once again, we want all these flavors to kind of mix and marinate together. Okay, I'm going to put this in the fridge, and when it's time to go in the oven, we'll be back. Alrighty, folks, we have our Volfiletta, and it's going into a 350-degree oven for about a half an hour to 45 minutes. And when Wolfie gets home, we will take it out of the oven, let it set, and hopefully he'll give us a thumbs up. Oh, it's... If I can just get a piece cut so we can see how this looks with a cross section. This, my friends.
Take it you don't eat it like a sandwich.
Yes, you do.
You could.
Well, you're going to have to eat that with a...
This, my friends, is a piece of Volfiletta. I don't know how well you can see that, but isn't that beautiful? Actually.
You might call it there.
Dedicated to you for all your hard work in the kitchen and putting up with slapdash meals while you were working.
That's interesting.
It's supposed to be hot.
Yeah, isn't it?
I like it.
Is there anything in it that should be cooked?
Nope. No, just it's
It's very good.
My Volfiletta, and I think in hindsight we will probably cook it for a full hour from now on. But Wolfie said It's a Volfiletta.